Good morning. Here we are. It is Tuesday morning, and the Washington Capitals have taken control of the Stanley Cup Finals. 3 games to 1, and bizarre world is hopefully 1 game away from ending. Now, I know a lot of Vegas Golden Knight fans are really upset this morning. Some of them are screaming and yelling at the referees and how unlucky they've gotten, and it's unjustifiable and all this and all this. Let's look at the facts. The Washington Capitals are the better team in the finals anyway, the way they've been playing. The Washington Capitals totally have outplayed the Vegas Golden Knights, especially in the last 3 games. And the Vegas Golden Knights have not been performing like they did. Now, if you watched the game yesterday, you noticed the first 10 minutes of the game, Las Vegas had a chance to bury the Capitals. They had numerous chances, hit the post. They had a chance to go up 2-0, and the complexion of this game could have been totally different if they could have buried a couple of those goals. Now, you can say they got unlucky, they couldn't execute, they couldn't get the job done. However, at the end of the day, the Capitals weathered that 10 minutes, and they came back, take control, and basically, ended the game. After the first period, it looked like the game was over 3-0. Now, James Neal. All right, James Neal, you are one of the more experienced Vegas Golden Knights. You are the player that was expected to lead this team this year. You have a wide open net. Literally a wide open net. You have the whole net to shoot at. What do? You hit the post. Now, that was a crucial part of the game. If not, that was the turning point of the series where it was basically cemented that the Capitals are going to win the Stanley Cup. Now, there's still a lot of hockey to play. There's still a lot of games to play. The Capitals previously have lost a series where they've been up 3-1. It's happened. It's not very often, but it could happen. Vegas just has to take it 1 game at a time, just like the old cliche says. They go home, win Game 5, and see what happens later. I don't think it's going to happen. However, let's talk about Fleury. So Fleury came into this series single-handedly carrying the Golden Knights into the Stanley Cup Final. He had some ridiculous numbers. He had goals against average of under 2, I think around 1.91, and he was literally carrying this team on his back. Now, we talked about variance yesterday. Is it variance now that he's performing back? Those of you who know what mathematics, you have variance, you perform to the mean. If you are extremely well, it's eventually going to come back down to the mean. Is that what's happening with Fleury? 6 goals last night, a 6 spot on him. He has not looked that well. He has looked human. Now, I don't blame Fleury on all of these goals. We talked about, either yesterday or the day before, we talked about the cross-ice passes. The Washington Capitals are making the defense look silly. The passing from one side to the other to the open guy, a lot of empty net goals. A lot of goals that Fleury has no chance on. Now, back when he was hot, he was making a lot of those saves, but when you give up 4 goals on 14 shots, it's not enough. It's not going to get the job done. And it's not getting the job done. Now, again, I'm not one of these people to say I told you so, all right? I'm not going to say this Vegas team doesn't have any good players on paper. They don't have the experience. That's not what I'm going to say. However, if you look before the season, you looked at the 2 lineups, all right? You brought the Capitals lineup together, you brought the Vegas lineup together, and you looked at them and said, look, you got Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Backstrom, Oshie, Karlsson. You got all these experienced all-star players. And then you have Marchessault, Smith, Karlsson, James Neal, maybe, Shea Theodore. Like, you look at the 2 lineups, and it's a mismatch on paper. And the last couple of games, it's looked like that. Guys like Kuznetsov, Ovi, and Backstrom, who are superstars, who have had phenomenal careers in the NHL, who Ovechkin is a Hall of Famer, no doubt, first ballot Hall of Famer. You look at these guys and they're finally stepping up. The superstars are playing like they're superstars. The Marchessaults, the Smiths, and the Karlssons are playing like the types of players they have been. Now, there's no knock against Vegas. They've had a phenomenal year. All right, they've did a lot. They've changed the complexion of the way we look at teams. They've changed the complexion of the way players are going to be signed maybe later on in the free agency or looking at the trade market. You don't necessarily have to go out and get that $7 million player to lead your team. You have to go and find guys like a Marchessault, who other teams don't see what you see. So this is where we're at. We're at where the superstar players are playing like they're superstars, and the third and fourth line players are playing like third and fourth line players. Again, not a knock against the Golden Knights, because they did it all year. They played together as a team, and they bucked all odds, and they came all this. They won their conference championship, and they came to the Stanley Cup Finals. And a lot of people thought they would win the Stanley Cup, except for people that didn't, and that is me. Now, again, I was wrong all year with the Vegas Golden Knights, and I could still be wrong. They can really make me eat my words if they win the next 3 games. I just don't see it happening. They've been outplayed. Capitals have been the better team. It's just no doubt about it. Now, let's look at the last few minutes of the game last night. It got a little bit of ugly. It got ugly. Oshie gets hit. Now, again, Oshie on the 5th goal, was it the 5th or the 6th goal? He elbows the Vegas player in the face, it looks like. Again, you know, tantrums are happening. People are hitting each other from behind. Reeves wants to go at it with Devontae Smith-Pelly. A lot of shenanigans going on, a lot of rough stuff going on. Vegas, you know, and a lot of that's going to happen when it's a blowout, and it was a blowout after the 6th goal. So what's going to happen in Game 5? I know one thing for sure. The Vegas Golden Knights are not going to be, they're not going to give that game up easily. I could see them winning that game, and then Washington might have to win the Stanley Cup at home. However, we don't know. Anyways, it's been a great series, even if you're a Vegas Golden Knights fan. And I put this out there last night on Facebook. 2 things to you Vegas Golden Knight fans. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You came this far. You have made history no matter what happens. You've had a season where it's never going to be matched again. You've changed the rules. You've changed the landscape of the way we look at players and we look at teams. You've changed the landscape of gambling. All right. What Vegas is maybe Vegas the city, the casinos are not going to offer the odds that they have offered because of the stuff that you were able to do this year. So don't be ashamed of that. And again, the second thing is the series is not over yet. A lot of teams have come back from a 3-1 deficit to at least force a Game 7. And when you force a Game 7, anything can happen. My team this year, the Toronto Maple Leafs, were down 3-1 against Boston. They came back and forced a Game 7. Unfortunately, they were 1 period short of the ultimate goal. So this series is not over yet, theoretically. But if it goes the way it has the last 3 games, the Capitals will be our next Stanley Cup champions. So one other thing, Holtby versus Fleury. I was talking about earlier. Fleury has a 2.15 goals against average, and Holtby has a 2.13 goals against average. So to win the Stanley Cup, you have to get hot at the right time. All right, and the Capitals are getting hot at the right time. They're getting maybe lucky at the right time. Yesterday, let's face it, the first 10 minutes the Capitals were extremely lucky. You know, Neal gets that shot, he scores that goal 95 times out of 100. That's a goal. All right, a couple of the other bounces that hit the post, those could be goals, and the Knights could be up 2-0, and they could win the game, tie the series 2-2, and it's a whole new ball game. But yeah, so Holtby is now overall the better goalie in my opinion. Fleury is not doing the job, even though again we can't blame Fleury. And even the secondary players like Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, Backstrom, Oshie, these are the stars on the team, right? But Tom Wilson, Devontae Smith-Pelly, these guys are not only are they playing a rough and tough game, but they're scoring the big goals when it counts. So there you have it. The Washington Capitals are 1 game away from winning the Stanley Cup, from stopping the Vegas Golden Knights from making ridiculous, bizarro history in the NHL. Vegas, if you're a Vegas Golden Knight fan, you've been hating me all year. I'm sorry. There you have it. The Vegas Golden Knights have a chance on Thursday to stay alive, but I don't think it's going to happen. Ovechkin maybe he'll take the cup and to the Bellagio fountains and jump in there with the cup. How awesome would that be? Anyways, this is Serge Bogosian, the hockey guru. Next time you see me, I might be in Toronto and doing some vlogs from there. I'm also going to be in New York for a couple of days. So, I'll be out in the East Coast, maybe celebrating the Washington Capitals Stanley Cup. Have a great day, and we'll see you shortly.